Hey friends! This time we're talking about a teen movie from the 1980s. A skateboarding movie called Gleaming the Cube from 1989. Our story goes like this. Our hero Brian is a high school student who's a bit of a loser and kinda dumb. But the one thing he's really good at is skateboarding. He has a natural talent for it. That and getting into trouble. He has an adopted brother from Vietnam who's been part of Brian's family for going on 11 years. This kid, unlike Brian, is actually smart. And it's no secret his parents prefer the adopted brother. The brother works in a video store for a Vietnamese guy with a cute daughter, and naturally they're an item. One day, however, the brother accidentally stumbles on some secret info involving a charity which the store owner is running to supply humanitarian aid to Vietnamese displaced by the Vietnam War. Turns out these medical supplies are way too heavy and something doesn't add up. That's because, along with the bandages and antibiotics, they're shipping guns and ammo. When he investigates the warehouse these things are stored in, he's nabbed by the head bad guy and winds up not so alive anymore. The cops fall for the old staged suicide trick, and our hero, the dopey teenager, knows better. Now he's investigating the case himself. As he starts piecing the puzzle together, the bad guys start closing in, and the detective on the case only half believes Brian. The stakes are raised as he starts falling for the cute girl after trying to get info on her dad's criminal activities. Can Brian figure out the case? Without his smarter foster brother, can he figure out his life and not be so dopey anymore? Will the bad guys be brought to justice? Gleaming the Cube is an interesting picture. While Brian is the hero and generally likable, he's shown as being a typical, believable teen. He's a little self-centered, a bit of a troublemaker, not good at academics, doesn't apply himself, and doesn't get along with his dad. And he takes dumb risks. He could have been easily written as too cool for school. Instead, the filmmakers opted to go in the opposite route, showing Brian as an underachiever, fairly unpopular outside of his circle of skater friends, and at times, almost slow-witted. We all know kids like Brian from our high school days, and it's kind of refreshing to see a teen portrayed in a believable way like this in a movie. It's subtle, but it's there. In our cast, we have Christian Slater as Brian, Richard Hurd is the head bad guy, Stephen Bauer as the detective, Ed Lauter plays Brian's dad, and Peter Kwong from Big Trouble in Little China. He appears as a bad guy working for the gang. Comedian Rita Rudner appears briefly in a cameo as the mom of one of Brian's friends, and pro skater Tony Hawk also appears as Buddy, another one of Brian's friends. Tony Hawk and other pro skaters doubled for Christian Slater in several scenes doing stunts, although Slater was trained to skate and did a lot of his own skating in regular scenes. Although Brian is a skater, the movie is, surprisingly, not about skateboarding. That's just what he's good at, and he and his friends all skate to get around. This leads to some cool action scenes, especially in the climax of the picture. There we see the movie's stunt coordinator cameo as a rich guy driving a Corvette, and we even see Brian skate under a semi-trailer moving at high speed. It's pretty exciting stuff, and the camera shows off the skating to great effect throughout the picture. Still, Gleaming the Cube was not a box office success. The movie cost around $10 million to make and earned back less than $3 million. Outside of fans of skateboarding, I suspect it's one many people haven't seen. It's probably just as well this one wasn't a big hit, given that kids might emulate the trick of a skateboarder grabbing hold of the bumper of a car to hitch a ride, a stupidly dangerous thing to do, shown half a dozen times over the course of the picture. True, Marty McFly did it in Back to the Future, but for some reason that seemed more fanciful, whereas in Gleaming the Cube it's shown much more often and like a cool thing to do. And yeah, some of it is implausible. In real life, there's no way a dopey teen like Brian would get as far as he does. Still, gotta say, all things considered, I was surprised by how much I liked this one. I'm giving Gleaming the Cube 2.5 paws. As I say, Slater played Brian a little differently, a very believable take on a disaffected teen. It's very consistent, the action is good, and there are enough skateboard stunts and tricks to keep you engaged without overpowering the narrative. And it's a very 80s movie too, so definitely worth a watch to catch that 80s teen movie vibe. You can watch my review of The Legend of Billie Jean here. And down there, you can see more movie reviews of movies from the 1980s. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.